G'day everyone. Got some more completed work before you here. I just finished these off this morning. Now it's about sort of midday here, and yeah, I've taken the stills. Got to process them yet, but before I do that, I usually like to make a bit of video and show you what I've been up to. Now, all these guys are metal figures from Gripping Beast, and they are for Dark Age Irish warband for Saga for one of my customers up in Queensland. Yeah, there's still quite a lot of other components to go with it, mostly more elite troops, sort of Hearthguard and leader types and things like that. But I thought I'd get stuck into the bigger lots of well, we've got I think he may have some already that he's completed back at his place. So what we've got in front, we've got and there's a lot of repeat poses. Tried to get them all looking slightly different in their clothing or whatever, whether it's clothing or hair colors, or trying to get that front lot of guys in focus. Are you going to come into focus? No, you're going to be a bit rascally. Anyway, the guys in front, they are javelin or light spear armed guys, spear chuckers. Sorry, I'm wobbling around a bit here, trying to get everything in shot and maybe even in focus. Yeah, so now with these figures, and I've had to do it, I say had to, I've chosen to do it before on some previous projects, is actually in the preparation stage I mix up some green stuff and make tiny little thumbs for all the hands, sculpt thumbs on, because often these claw hands that you get from Gripping Beast, and then and many other manufacturers don't tend to provide a good hold for the weapons, especially as I seem to have found in more recent years that the super glue isn't as super as it used to be. So I find that with those claw type of hands, that it really needs like a little bit of extra something. So I make these tiny little blobs that are sculpted into what approximates a thumb, just to try and give some more grip over the actual weapons. Other manufacturers like Footsaw tend to have it so that you drill the hand out, which I think I've mentioned before. This is what I would prefer. But yeah, a lot of little thumbs made on these guys. Not only does it give it a little bit, make it a little bit more secure, but it actually looks a little bit more realistic, because some of them, the sculpts, they just don't even look like they have thumbs. But there you go, just a little thing. It's time consuming, and usually there's always leftover green stuff from it, which I just put on bases to try and build up the basing. So there you go. Now the tufts and stuff are kept deliberately fairly simple, at the request of the customer, who has opted for a fairly simple sort of basing thing. So there's no flowers or anything like that. So yeah, and I've gone for mixture of sort of earthy tones, undyed wools and browns, yellows, beiges, and there's quite a bit of green in there as well. So some orange or orange type tones. There's no real blues or reds as such. There are some greys. Yeah, and like I say, some orangey colours. But I'll give you a bit of a look. So we've got these guys, the javelin throwers. And I find with these guys, I mean, they're clothed fairly simply, so it's important, like for me, like to really make sure the faces and all that sort of side of things look good. And there's some sculpts in here that are good for that kind of thing. Now let's see if I can shufty some stuff around so you can get a better view. Sorry about that. Okay, so there you've got the slingers, and I'll turn around, follow them along. As you can see, there's a number of repeat poses, so it's like trying to keep a track of when I'm doing them in batches. Try and make sure that there's a mix of hair colorings, particularly where you've got repeat poses. It doesn't necessarily look the same guy again and again. Make sure that the next model of that type has a different hair color and certainly a different clothing color. So there's lots of slingers there. And then over the back you've got, let's bring these guys forward a bit so we can see into the back row, where you've got some warriors who actually have shields. Excuse my hand reaching in there. Okay, let's see if we can let's move my lamp slightly out of the way. Okie doke. Oh, focus. There we go. It's not too bad. Some interesting, these figures are all slightly different. Oh, no, there is one that does, no, there's two that repeat again and again. Yeah, this fella occurs a number of times, as does this chap on the end. But the rest of them are more unique, although figures like this, I think I'm pretty sure, appear in other Gripping Beast sets. But, you know, they have a fairly generic look about them. This guy's got some sort of strange mullet haircut. It's a bit, it's like some sort of 70s glam rocker dude or something. I don't know. It's a funny sort of haircut, but that's all right. Now the shields, my customer said to leave the shields plain, without trying to put designs on them and everything. So what I've gone is just for different tones of mostly leather. This one, there's a slightly greeny grey leather one there on the end, but the rest of them are just different tones of leathers, basically, and a bit motley looking, and yeah, rusticated. Yeah, I think they turned out pretty well. Like, still, you know, have quite a bit of interest, even though they haven't got actual decorations on them. Yeah, so some of these guys have got cloaks. This one, as you've seen, this chap's got an interesting wrap around him. Yeah, so there you go, guys. That is them. Now, as usual, I will be putting stills at the end. Go away and process them and then add them to the video, and hopefully they will have turned out all right. Yep, these have all been painted using the usual sorts of techniques and methods, and they've been varnished with AK Interactive Ultramatte varnish. Even soak some varnish into the tufts as well, because they can be a bit shiny. I find the synthetic, they can be a bit too shiny for my eye, so I like to soak a bit of matte varnish into them as well as doing the figures. But yeah, I did experiment. Probably you wouldn't know it, but it was more like blocking in some of the colors. Just a few of the figures I was experimenting with. Used some Vallejo Express colors, usually toned down or tinted with like a brownie ink to get it a bit less vividly bright, and use those for some blocking in of some colors. But yeah, by and large, it's mostly like layers, washes, that kind of thing, glazes, whatever suits the figure. But yeah, so there we are. Now, what's next for me? Okay, well, after we've got all these sorted, I'll probably have a break from doing the Irish. As I say, there's a few more to do there, more high status and guys and stuff, but I won't dive straight into them. I have a break from them. I've got some more. I haven't even opened the box yet, actually. Some more figures from Bloody Miniatures range, I think, and there may even be some Silver Bayonet miniatures in there. So that's going to be some really interesting characters in this other project that I've been sent down. So that should be a lot of fun. Yeah, the Bloody Miniatures are great fun to paint, and it'd be interesting to see what these Silver Bayonet figures like. And I've seen the sculpts online. They're quite got a real certain character and style and almost caricatured sort of look to them. But yeah, they should be fun to paint. Yeah, so that'll probably be my next thing, just to mix it up a bit. And then I've got plenty more Dark Age. After that, I've got more Irish, but there's a whole Welsh project as well. And yeah, who knows what else may fall in between. So it's great to have all these things to keep me busy. Over on the side, there's a secret project, just with some very inexpensive plastic 1/72 plastic figures that are in very well. They've been blocked and washed, and not much else done yet. But it's the start of some what are they called? Brunswick Old Jaegers for the Peninsular War, with some conversions on there. Done some conversions with tiny green stuff things to create what do you call it? Things on the shoulders for musicians. Can't remember the word. And to these plastic figures, it's an older hat set or HAT set. Not particularly brilliant, but it was inexpensive, and so usually the drum goes on this side, but I've reworked it and made a sort of out of green stuff an apron for him, and fixed the drum to the other side and put a strap out of green stuff across there. And there's even some tiny little things where you would put the drumsticks and put some tiny little drumsticks in that hand, and yeah, a little bit of conversion on this guy as well. So, but anyway, just they're much more for something that ultimately will end up in my son's collection, or can be used with his collection of Napoleonic stuff. Yeah, just a little bit of something fun on the side that I dabble with now and then. All right, guys, thanks for watching and listening to my ramblings, and I hope you found the video vaguely interesting. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I do try to reply to everyone. Look after yourselves, and I shall see you on the next one. Bye for now.